Everybody's happy. Good. So, the question, the invitation I posted tonight was, gosh, I'm trying to remember it now. Does anyone have it at their disposal? Yes. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And this quote was attributed to Henry Ford. And I think it's a really interesting quote because it indicates that we have genuine agency over our lives and that we can really have influence over what goes on. Now, having said that, what we get isn't necessarily initially what we intended, but it's if we take the frame that this or something better is what we get, it's a great way of looking at things. So just to put you in the frame, Sue and I were on a cruise last week with a guy called Peter Sage, which some of you have heard me speak about. He's a great mentor. I run one of his programs, and really it was a week of learning and a week of fun. And what we talked about, we had 3 topics. We had clarity, certainty, and freedom. And I think these are great topics. So the way he framed it was that clarity is the first thing you need to create the life that you want. Certainty is having the inner posture, I'm going to call it, to know that you will get that. And freedom is really the unveiling of that, I would say. So what I've done tonight is I've taken, obviously I can't put 6 weeks into half an hour, but what I did was I just sort of sat with myself and I thought, if I was going to explain this, oh, Jonathan's coming on now. How would I explain it really briefly? Let's just wait 1 second for Jonathan to come on. So the way that Peter Sage, here he comes. The metaphor that Peter Sage always uses is he says that you are in your own movie and that you can either be, you are simultaneously, you are the actor in the movie who's behind the camera or the director, and that you are also the character in the movie. And so when you're going about your daily life and you have this feeling that stuff is happening to you, that it's happening to you, that's you in front of the camera as the person playing a part. And all the people that come and go in your movie are the characters in the movie. But actually, behind the scenes is you, the person who's creating these scenes that are unfolding in your life. So it's a really powerful frame when you think about it, because the idea is that whatever you can conceive in your life, in your state of higher consciousness, which we talked about last week, which Adriana will recognize as the Buddhist state, it is whatever we can conceive, we can bring into fruition, into physical matter reality, within the rule set of physical matter reality. Like, you're not going to suddenly be able to jump 30 feet high without some kind of assistance, because we have gravity, so that's not going to happen. But that you have the incredible power to mold your reality. So this is really about the power of your intention and how laser focused you are. And we talked about this last week, about how laser focused you are on what you want. Of course, that first involves really knowing what you want with clarity and being able to project that onto the movie screen of your life in your imagination before it unfolds in physical, what we call physical matter reality, which is where our body inhabits. That's where we live. So this is about creating clarity and knowing what it is you want. And that involves getting coherent about what you want. So coherence is the fusion of mind and heart, so that you know that you're in alignment. Because what we tend to do as humans is we think we want something and we fight, struggle, strive to get the thing, but it might not be the right thing for our life. So that's how it works, is this thing of really knowing that what it is you're going for is not just what you want, but what is right for you. we did talk briefly about ways of figuring this one out, and we talked about experiences. So for example, for me, an experience would be getting the keys to my new house with my boyfriend and move. What would it be like to be in that house? What would it feel like? What would the experience be? So that you can sort of hook what you want onto something that's really powerful for you. And then you look at what the growth you need to do is to get that, for that to unfold in your life, and also how you're going to use your life to contribute. So these are the different areas you can look at when you're designing your intention. So you design your intention, you have an idea of what it is you want. In fact, you don't just have an idea, you have a really clear and focused vision. And of course, as we go through our lives, these things change and we adapt them, and what we thought we want may not be what we actually want. It may not be what's good for us. It may be that had you gotten that thing, it would cause you immense suffering. So what you need to do when you're setting these intentions is you raise your energy, you lift your energy. So this is about getting into what is called a state, a good state. So good energy, so that you're not like, oh, why isn't this happening for me, and all that stuff, but you're like, yes, I'm attracting this into my life. This is what's happening. So raising your energy, and in previous calls, we've talked about ways you can do that. You can do that through meditation. You can do that through dancing. You can do that through going for a walk in the woods. You can do that through playing your drum kit. It's really about lifting your own energy and not waiting for the external circumstances. Also, chanting is what we do in Buddhism. So it's not waiting for external circumstances to change things, but it's learning how to raise your own energy. So while you're raising the energy, you're also lowering the importance of this thing that you've declared you want, because there's something that's in operation in life called the law of balance and harmony, which is if you want something too much, you push it away. So you could think of this as like, if you have a bar of soap and you squeeze it too hard, it flies out of your hand. So when you're trying too hard for something, when you're going to like in this kind of that kind of energy, I want that, you're pushing it away, because what you're actually focusing on is the lack of the thing. When what you really want is to be focusing on the revealing, the unfolding, the wish fulfilled. That's what we want, is the wish fulfilled. So that's where you're focusing. So it's, oops, sorry, I got to let someone else in. Jess Walker. So this is so raise your energy, lower the importance. And importance has many guises. So in importance, you might have desire, like really a strong desire to have something. Now, one of the things we talked about is that desire is good up to the point of making a decision. So once you've made the decision, you don't need to walk around going, I want. You're setting the intention. So desire, is placing undue importance. Impatience is making it too important. The need for control is making it important. Urgency, neediness, all these things are actually blocking you because they focus on lack. Whereas when you're in this thing that what I call the quantum field, when you are inhabiting that space where you already have the thing that you want, like I'm already in that house, I've already got the keys. This is just an example, by the way. I've already got that. That's a really good feeling. But when you're like, I want that, which is what we've been taught. We've kind of been taught in our lives to be, yeah, you got to go for it. You got to be determined. And that works up to a point. It really does. But it also creates exhaustion, and it also creates resistance, because in a sense, you're focusing on the resistance rather than being in what we call a state of flow or a state of alignment. Again, coming back to what I said at the beginning of the conversation, this is where it's about head and heart alignment. So it's determination rather than desire that propels you forward. It's decision. In Buddhism, there's a really cool word. It's called ichinen. One of the things we talked about is that this decision, it comes from a spiritual place. It's like a knowingness. So in Buddhism, we have this is my ichinen. This is my determination. This is what my heart, my soul, the wholeness of me really wants and feels is right for my life. Okay, so it's not about beating down the door till I get there, because that may work, but it's not the easiest way. So it's not the best way. It's not the most expedient way, because there's something called the path of least resistance. And when we try and take the shortest route, it's not always the best route. Sometimes the more circuitous route is better than the shortest route. So you're looking for a way for the universe to deliver it to you. So another way of lowering the importance is to have a plan B in the back of your mind. But I'm not going to talk about that tonight, because this is really about this clarity of intention and having single-minded confidence that you could even call it faith, single-minded confidence that what you're putting out there is going to come to fruition, and that you don't need to keep thinking about it. You don't need to write it 600 times on a piece of paper. You don't need to declare it 1,000,000 times. So if you want to see if this works, what you can do is start with smaller goals. And this is why people, when they're talking about the law of attraction, often talk about things like, getting a parking space. Or Sue and I played a really fun game in the airport the other day. On the plane home, I set the intention that her bag would be the first bag out on the, because I had hand luggage and she had a bag. And so I said to Sue and the other friend we were traveling with, let's all set the intention that your bag's going to be the first one out. I visualized it happening. I set down the intention. And as I was getting off the plane, I was thinking, patience is something I really need to learn in my life. And I said to Sue, it would be great if the bag comes out, but patience is something I need to learn. So she said, well, maybe it'll be the 5th bag. It was actually the 10th bag that came out, which we both thought was a pretty good result. So it wasn't the first bag. Was it really important that it was the first bag? Probably not. That was enough of a confirmation for me. So it's finding smaller goals to start with that you can you can play. This is fun. This is supposed to be fun. So one of the things that we don't take into account that really can scupper us when we're setting a goal or an intention with clarity is that when something doesn't happen, we get derailed or we start to lose confidence. And this is to do with the time it takes for it to be fulfilled. Now, remember earlier in this conversation, I talked about the line of least resistance rather than the shortest distance. It's not how quick you get something, but is it going to unfold in the right way, in the right time for your life, for your happiness? So now at the age of nearly 66, I've attracted a new relationship into my life after I divorced 8 years ago. Now, had I tried to rush that, I actually don't think I would have been in a very good place. So even though I thought that I wanted that thing, I have to acknowledge that it probably wasn't the right time because I hadn't done the necessary work to get me to that place. I'm not even sure, what's going to happen with this particular relationship, but it feels really good knowing that my financial situation is sorted out by me, so I don't have to rely on someone, and that I've spent a good long time on my own, so it's not the be all and end all. But what I want to talk about is there's something called the quantum to Newtonian transition point. So when you put an intention out, and I keep going like this because I think of it as a film in my future, a picture in my future, a vision in my future. When I put that out, it's there in the universe. It's there, call it in the cloud, for a good way of looking at it. It's just a question of time whether it comes onto my movie screen. And that's called the quantum to Newtonian transition point. So if you believe that there are multiple possible universes in any given moment and multiple outcomes, what you're doing is you're lining yourself up and you're drawing the outcome that you want into your life. I hope that makes sense, and that it takes time for it to come into your reality, and that amount of time and how it happens is right for you, and being able to trust that. So a lot of this is a journey of certainty, as I mentioned at the beginning of the call. It's knowing that things are unfolding in the best way for your growth. Not necessarily because you think you want something. It's the best way for your growth, and that you will get this or something better. So we don't get involved in how it's going to come about. We don't know. You know, once you've set the intention, you might know what your next step is, but you don't need to know 20 steps ahead what you need to be doing. You need to know what your next step is. So don't get over-invested or over-involved in the how. So as I said, it's the path of least resistance, not the shortest distance. And the universe knows what's best for your growth. Now, the language on that is interesting. Some people will call it God. Some people will call it your life. But really, things happen in the best possible way for your growth and development. So the how is none of your business. So for example, and I may have spoken about this before, I have a few sort of banner experiences that I often harp on about, but I had a business that I'd been building for 7 years, and every month I would declare that I needed this particular income goal. There was a number, this amount of dollars per month or pounds per month. And I would repeat it, and I would repeat it month after month after month. It was like, why is it not happening? Eventually, I just chilled out, wasn't really thinking about it. I was working as a teacher at the time. I also had a side hustle, which I was working on. One day, somehow, this opportunity appeared in my physical matter reality. I was offered a role with a company with Peter Sage, and suddenly, literally within 2 months, the goal that I had been setting for all those years came to pass. And now that goal actually seems a small goal to me. So that's what's really interesting. It's like you adjust to where you are. You sort of take it for granted. That's your default. That can work for you, or that can work against you, because if where you are now is all you think that you are capable of achieving, and that you're afraid of setting goals that are too big, you don't want to set it so big that it overstretches the bounds of possibility, but you do want it to be uncomfortable, because if it's not big enough, then you're not really stretching yourself, and you're not really testing this out. So at the beginning, yes, to get your proof, you set small goals, like I want a parking space, or I want my luggage to come out first, or I want so-and-so to call me today, those kinds of things. So you can play. And we have something called the Journal of Positive Confirmation. Every time one of these little things happens, you write it down. So I'm just looking at one that I have. Oh yeah, so there was someone who wasn't texting me, and I really wanted them to text. And the minute I went into this space where I was thanking the actor in my movie, I just said, thank you for not texting, because you have enabled me to do the necessary growth to stop obsessing about that minute the person texted. So this is powerful stuff. I really encourage you to explore it. The other thing, the other cautionary note that I want to bring into this is interfering in other people's movie, because often we think we know what's best for other people and we want them to do something and we want them to be on our page. And that's not something that I'm encourage you to mess around with. Like if someone's doing something that is not helpful for them, you can want for them to change, but that's not really up to you. That's their movie. I've just realized someone is knocking on the door. Give me 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves, darlings.
Can I give you an example of what I would put in my book of positive confirmation? Is that I'd started going through the security process, and I was just like, I don't have anything in my bag, they're not going to pick anything up. And so I didn't grab one of those little plastic bags, and I hadn't got one. And I was walking around that line that you go, bah, I'm a sheep with. And there was this little plastic bag in front of me, and it's like, I can leave it there or I pick it up. I chose to pick it up. And as it happened, thank you, positive confirmation diary, it helped me. I was meant to pick up that plastic bag, because as I went through, I was confident, right? Got it all, don't have anything in my bag, totally forgot about a little underarm spray. And the guy says to me, there's not a lot left in it, but he says, oh, da, da, da. And I said, oh, well, I've got this little bag. So I pulled out the bag that I put in my pocket. So he put it in the bag and said, yeah, off you go. And so I got to keep that little spray of underarm deodorant. I mean, it's a silly thing like that, but that's a sign the universe is, or whoever you decide it is, was looking after me. I could have just totally walked past it, but I just felt compelled to pick it up. And I was like, oh, well, there you go. So there's just a little example. And we had fun, didn't we, Corey, about deciding when my bag, and normally, to be fair, I'm normally last. My bag comes out last, because that's what I've been saying. Oh, I'll come out last, I'll come out. And this time we went, oh no, it'll be out early. And there it was. Bingo.
Well, the other interesting thing about what you say, Sue, sorry to cut in, but the other interesting thing is, even if it's not true, even if these things aren't happening, it's a much happier frame to have on your life, to observe with gratitude when things go the way that you want them to, and when things go in a positive direction, purely because you set that intention. So thank you for that, Sue. So I just to wrap up this thing about other people, sort of marching to your tune. That's if you're in a situation where you want someone to do something, it may not be that that person is the right person to do the thing that you want them to do. It may be that there's someone better to fulfill that particular thing. We're all the stars in our own movie, but we are not the stars in other people's movie. If Sue says to me that she wants, if I see Sue doing something harmful in her life and repeating it, of course, as her friend, I will say, Sue, would you mind if I say something that might not be serving you? But when she chooses to listen is up to her. So this is a caveat I'm putting on this, because how can you show up as the star in your movie, and how can you be the protagonist? So that's kind of all I want to say. And I would love to, first of all, invite any questions people have, or invite debate, because I love it when people disagree with me. Anyone have any questions or any hot topics? Jess, nice to see you. Are your kids still up and about? Is that why you're off at the moment? I'm guessing yes. I'm putting Adriana to sleep. I can see that.
I was just thinking.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I feel this is very aligned with the practice that you and I have practiced for more than 30 years. It's like, at the moment when you allow your, when you're completely have filled yourself up with trust, that's when things start to move in the right direction. I feel, I don't know what you think.
Oh, I think it's funny. Like I've just been in Peru. I've been away from England for the last 3 years, and I've come back to England, and things are really difficult here. And I kind of knew it was going to be difficult, and so I've been listening to like the gas, like the cost of living is really high, and like bills are going to really increase, and you kind of like, I was just kind of like, oh my God, you know, maybe I should just go back. Well, I am planning on going back. Sorry, I am planning on going back anyway at some point. But I was just kind of like, you know, like really like, oh my God, like I've been a Buddhist for many, many years. In the beginning, I was like really, really poor, actually, and really struggling. And I'm kind of thinking, oh my God, I said to my husband, are we going back to the bad old days where we're going to have to be rationing for gas and rationing for food? And it's funny, like when you were talking, when you were giving the introduction, I was kind of like really thinking like, you know, that I must have faith. And like yesterday, I was listening to something, and President Macron was saying like, abundance is over. The time for abundance is over. And I remember thinking, who the hell are you to tell me abundance in my own life is over?
Absolutely.
And I mean, like, yeah. And I was just like, when you were talking, I was just kind of like really thinking, no, it's like now more than ever. We really have to prove, because I mean, everywhere around you, there's people, it's all very negative and people are cutting back, but now more than ever, I really feel like what you were saying, we really have to have abundance in our life and really have faith, like you were talking about earlier, like about faith, and really to more than ever, really visualize the kind of life you want. Because I think it's easy now to think, no, because of what's going on, you can't have these things, and you can't have these big dreams. And I really think, like when you were talking, I just thought, no, Adriana, like Corey's right. We have to have more abundance, bigger dreams, and really, you know, show people, because it's just easy now to become like, oh my God, what's going to happen, and we don't have money, and and it's like, no, and I was just listening to you, and we have to, I think, yeah, I'm really kind of like, and not to be afraid, like you were talking, not to be afraid, you know, and not to settle, you know, just because, not to settle now more than ever. I really feel I mustn't settle. And
can I say
yeah,
something? I think,
yes, of course.
Adriana, you've hit a really key point that Corey and I and others have been learning. It's a state of mind. There are many, many external influences that want to keep you fear. They want you to believe that there is lack of abundance. It is a state. It is a state of mind. Our minds are trained to watch out for fear, because you need to go out and attack the lion, you need to whatever. But those fears aren't there anymore. But that's what our mind, our natural state of mind is. But we've got the state that we can encourage into our lives, that we live in a friendly universe and we are abundant. And when we do that, if we want to choose the fear state, then that's what we'll put out there, and that's what we keep receiving, right? That's why people get stuck where they're stuck. We change that state of mind. I live in a friendly universe. I am abundant. And you start seeing, your state of mind starts seeing things differently. Like I used to think my bag comes out last. I know it sounds really simple, right? But it was like, there it was. Voila, yeah, let's go, right? And there was multiple times on my 3-month travel that I had amazing stuff happening. So it's all about what we create in our heads, what we allow our minds to say, and what we put out there. So, Adriana, you're absolutely on the right track. I've stopped watching the news. I've stopped listening to other people. I base it on what I want and need to put out there. And it's coming back for me.
And
Yeah.
that's a really important point, Sue, and I will get to you in a sec, Joshua. What's if you are going to choose to listen to the mainstream media, which the agenda of which is to control you so that you will consume more media. It is not the job of the media to inform. I'm sorry, but that's just complete nonsense, because the purpose of the media is to sell. And what they've figured out, as you pointed out, Sue, is that by triggering the amygdala, which is your fight or flight response, they're going to sell more papers. Because if you see the headline that the world's going to end, you're going to want to know how, so that you can get ready to build your bunker. So that's why these influences are so powerful, and really, quite frankly, in my opinion, not helpful. I have a much happier life without reading the newspaper. When I go out in the world, I'm much more likely to spread joy, abundance, hope, rather than, hanging on the coattails of someone else's fears. So I think it's really intense. Joshua.
Do you know what you've reminded me of, Corey? I'm leaving on the airplane tomorrow back to New Zealand, and I don't even know if I can get in. I don't know if I need a test or anything. I'm just going to get on the plane and
New Zealand.
go live life now.
Good luck.
No luck required. The universe will deliver what I need, right? Perfect time, perfect place.
Or failing that, there's a COVID test around the corner for a tenner.
I don't need that. I'm not going there.
Okay. So, Joshua.
Yeah, I just wanted to say quickly that I want to quote Broadchurch. That's a series. Now you can find it everywhere. And there is one moment that there is a priest and he resigns. What he says about the situation, basically that you may not be where you want to be, but you are where you are needed in life. So oftentimes to get to the 3 points Corey is explaining, you got to look at this point and start from that. So Adriana, you're doing great. And Peru, and then UK, that's a nice cultural world. I wish I could travel like that. But just to start at the basic idea, I think this is the best way, because like Corey said, you don't need the media, but just realize where you are in life and what you're here for is the most important. And I think this will cover the 3 subjects. And like the visualization, what people call it God, whatever. The universe, you can visualize it in any form. Some people see color, they see blue, they see gray. Some people walk down the street, they see music in their head or hear music. It's in all forms, but it's there to pick up. It's free, it's available, but the timing, that's something you cannot predict. This could be 5 months, but this could be 5 years. You could be stuck in Singapore at the change to New Zealand because you didn't do a COVID test, but you can have an experience there. I don't know. It's all reaction. Yeah. But go with what's most comfortable to you. And last I want to say is about other people. If you know someone who is a plumber, you can call and ask, can you fix this or that? But never assume you know a person, because that's not a fact. People are so different. And in these times, it could be even dangerous because next door neighbors are strangers. So the more you rely on yourself, the more you build yourself. The last what I will say is the more you learn, grow, and the more social you become, the more people there will be in your life. That's my...
Cool. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'm curious, John, I see you quite regularly, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know you're silently there in the background and I'm picking on you, but I always think what you have to say is wonderful. Did you have any thoughts about what we're talking about?
Hi, Corey. Am I audible?
Yes, you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, I thought this was a excellent conversation. And it just this topic, it reminded me of a quote that Roberta had posted in the group not too long ago by Jim Carrey, which was, at any given moment, what's bad is always available, but at the very same time, what's good is also available. That sort of ties into the intent and clarifying that, and just choosing to look for what's positive in whatever
Totally.
situation.
I read exactly the same thing today in one of the books I was reading. That's exactly right. And if you're, it's always depends on the question that you ask yourself, and asking a powerful question is something we also learn about. So the powerful question is, how can I turn this situation into something positive, is a much better question than what's bad about this situation. So thank you for pointing that out. That's gold, actually. Questions are the steering wheel of the mind. Exactly, Sue. Questions
Like it.
are the steering wheel of the mind. Yeah. So who else? Sue, Jackie. It's really nice. We've got 3 people from my EMF group, and plus Sue, Sue with an E, who's also in EMF. So most people are not strangers to this conversation. Who else? Jackie, I haven't heard from you in so long. How's it going? Are you still in England? She's avoiding.
Yes, I'm at my daughter's right now, so I can't be visual, but yes, I'm still here.
Well, you can't be visible because your daughter doesn't want us to see where she lives.
No, it's just, no, just not. I don't know what the real reason is, but no.
Okay.
No, but I'm enjoying it. I don't have anything really to contribute other than I've definitely been trying to always try to say what's positive about the situation and change my self-talk really, like day to day as I'm walking around, just, oh, okay. Or
And
just
how are you finding EMF at the moment?
great. I haven't done every page of homework, but I love it. And it's exactly what I needed.
Wow.
Yeah, I've changed a lot. But yeah, I think everybody should do it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I actually want to go back over and do all of phase 1, just to marinate totally into it.
Oh, I know it's a lot, isn't it?
I feel like we're about to really leap off into the stratosphere. So yeah, but I do enjoy it and need it.
Good. Well, there are levels and levels with all of this. The course that we were just on this week showed me that a lot of the stuff I thought I understood, I only understood at the surface level. And I suspect my understanding is still very surface, but you can only be where you are. And it's great. It's exciting. Once you're on the thing of learning all the time, it just, everything gets more and more exciting, don't you think?
I think so. And it sinks in more readily, just, oh, it gets less surface. Yeah. Yeah.
Sue, other Sue, how are you? Thank you, Jackie, by the way.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm good.
What's new in your life? I feel like I'm interviewing you here. Let me pass you the mic.
I'm trying to fix my back. That's what's going on.
Fix your back.
Yeah, I've had back pain since January. It's like New Year nightmare.
Well, you could set the intention that your back will be better by a certain date.
I think I've given that up already. I think I just need to try and accept it. Which is hard when I go through like phases where it flares up the pain, and then I feel like, oh, actually, I want to get rid of this. It's hard, but I'm just trying to accept it.
It's interesting. Yeah, that may be what you need to do. You may need to accept it, and you may also need to figure out what the source, not the physical source, but the emotional source is always useful.
Absolutely.
It's illuminating.
Absolutely.
Do Do you have any thoughts about that?
Right. So what did you say?
Do you have any thoughts about that?
Thoughts about what? Sorry.
What it could be for you? I mean, you don't have to tell me because that's personal, but you know, we're all,
I think it's because I've just not been taking care of my body, and then the body is just telling me now, all this not being inactive all this time, and not sitting well, and working from home as well, and not sitting with your back against the chair. I think it's taking its toll. I think everything's taken its toll, and now it's saying that body's giving me. I think it has given me signals before about trying to change the way I move, being more active. But I've just ignored myself and carried on just being a desk-based person. And now it's like the body's just saying, no, you got to move now.
you
So I
know,
have to-
what I would love to, if you remind me on Facebook, I would love to send you, someone on my team sent me a 4-minute video of these exercises. If you're desk-based, they like take 2 minutes of these exercises you can do a couple times a day that really move the energy through your body, and super, super helpful.
Oh, thank you so much, Corey.
Yeah, but do remind me, because otherwise I definitely will not remember. I like to give the responsibility back over.
No, thank you for the sessions as well. It really enlightens me.
You like it?
Yeah,
Good.
thank you.
Good. It's nice to see that you're becoming a regular.
Yeah, so sometimes I'm at a meeting, that's why I don't have my camera on.
Oh,
So yeah, it's just near the dinner time thing. So, but anyway, really enjoy it. Thank you so much.
you're very welcome. You're very welcome. So Jess, you're the only one who hasn't spoken to us. Is it because you have noisy children?
Hiya.
Hey,
Did you say? Oh, what did you say? Something about a cauldron, but it's not. It's children, isn't it?
yeah, I said children.
Okay. Yeah, I've still got one up, but my mum's here trying to help out. So I've come into the garden to speak, so I can. You don't get drowned out by his YouTube channel. Yeah, I was curious about what you were chatting earlier about, Corey, with having that. It's marrying up to sort of the concept of having the oath of manifestation, which we are repeating daily, some of us still, and having just that, but also not creating too much desire. I suppose I said it while I'm saying it out loud and thinking it's not a desire-led script, is it? It's just saying I'm open to this and I'm accepting of this coming into my life. But that's what I've been buzzing in my head really, sort of through the call. Just about
Sorry, go ahead.
it's just finding that balance, isn't it? That's right, to be having it set an intention but not be salivating or whatever. Yeah, just to not be too.
Because the oath of manifestation says, I accept and receive unexpected good, unexpected money, unexpected love, etc., and so on.
Yeah.
Constantly guided and boldly empowered to receive the lavish abundance of the universe. I accept the principle that abundance and prosperity have already been given to me. So that's really gratitude, isn't it?
Yeah.
And also it is also thinking in quantum terms that in some parallel universe you already have been given that, and it's inhabiting that space. There's a book we're reading at the moment. I can't remember the exact title. Is something like is it called Tufty the Priestess? Sue, I can't remember. We were given it by Peter, and
Yeah, it's a really weird name.
yeah, and it is in the book they use the metaphor of a mirror, and how you are the person in physical matter reality looking into the mirror, but actually it's what's behind the reflection, the bit that you can't reach. That's the bit that we need to be changing. So just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And, you know, I declare absolutely that I live in a friendly universe. That's, again, the sort of, that's the energy you want to embody, is that energy that it is happening and that it is possible. Not that I need, want, have to have, desire, this has to happen. It's that has to, that is the real, it's the real bitch, actually. You know, that's the bit that once you can get past that into the energy of knowing that it is available, freely available, that's and feel it. Yeah, and again, it says I've keep myself lifted in high conscious no matter what the appearances are. So it's, as I'm talking, can you feel that sort of inner knowing? It's an inner knowing.
Yeah.
Rather than, because otherwise you're focusing on the lack. And that's the last thing you want to do.
It's
So it's just, I'll just make one more distinction, and absolutely I'll let you add, Sue. It's the difference between energy, so giving it energy, and giving it too much desire. And Peter makes the distinction that there's a difference between priority and a sort of desire must have. So something can be a priority, but without making it so important that you actually block yourself, because what you're thinking about is the absence of the thing, and what you focus on grows. So if you focus on the absence of the thing, then it will not manifest. Sue, what did you want to say?
It's really interesting because I just started Peter's work or his teachings this time last year, and I was like, right, gotta go. And it was just in COVID times, and New Zealand had probably the hardest of all of the restrictions, and it's like, do I risk, you know, going out of the country and not getting back in? And I went, you know, it's not my time right now. However, I truly believe this is for me next year. And something just happened, and I can relate to my heart, my head and my heart just aligned. And I went, wow, this is for me. I've barely started EMF, but I just knew, heart, head aligned, that I was going to go. And I set that intention that I was going to the EMF festival and the cruise. And you know, I said it and I let it go for months. It just disappeared. I focused on other things. And then it came to the point where I'd got a new job, and that fell in alignment as well. And I needed to talk to my boss about having 3 months off, because I wanted to do the festival and the cruise, and they were 3 months apart. And I'm like, well, I'm going to Europe once, right? I'm not traveling backwards and forwards. So I'm going. I had a conversation to my boss, and goes, yeah, that's not a problem. And I'm like, woohoo, this is really happening, right? You know? And just an example, it just felt right. I set the intention. It was absolutely in alignment, and then let it go. And I've been away from home for 3 months. Thank you, Corey. I've loved staying with you for 2 or 3 days, which was actually something that presented itself 2 days ago on the cruise, because I didn't have anything booked. And I went, oh, well, something, a solution will present itself. And Corey popped up. But by the time I get home, I will have been away 3 months, set by an intention last year that I just set and let go of. So there's a great example. I can't explain it to you. It just felt right. It just constantly amazed, never surprised.
Yeah.
Works every time.
Yep. And you know, the other thing I would add to that, thank you so much, Sue. That's amazing. Always to give experiences is really helpful. One thing I would say is super, 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 super important is to keep noticing the little times when things do go right. This is, again, the journal of positive confirmation. I don't think we do that enough. So as you were talking, Sue, I was thinking about the fact that if you hadn't been here tonight, I probably wouldn't have eaten dinner because I finished work at 6 and I had to come on this call. I didn't have to. I chose to come on this call at 7 because I enjoy it, and this is my life and my passion. So, you know, life was looking after me. Sue was there. She made dinner. I sat down, had a lovely dinner, and then I came in here. I did some raise my energy type exercises, the one that I'm going to send to Sue, and I was good to go. We've got a few more minutes and then I have to go because I have to be on another call in like 3 minutes. Does anyone have any burning things that they want to talk about or add, or closing words? I see the hand.
Just very quickly, I was just going to say nothing. I mean, I think even if something seems to be seemingly negative, I can't really think of something because we've only got 3 minutes, but even if something seems to be seemingly negative, we can always transform it.
Exactly.
And I'm really trying to have gratitude for everything, like, you know what I mean? Like, even if it's let's say my mail doesn't arrive on time, I have gratitude or something, because sometimes we don't, I think like you were saying, sometimes we don't always know why certain things happen. And I think it's like you said earlier about energy. We can change it. Like if we think, oh, this hasn't happened now, and oh my God, this is negative, we can always change it, and we can always learn something from that moment, and we can transform anything and everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's a really good note to end on, and powerful. So lovely to see you guys. Love you guys. Really hope you can come next week. I know I'm supposed to declare, I know what we're going to do next week. We're going to do a very a shallow dive into archetypes. We're going to talk a little bit about archetypes, and because someone previously asked for that. If you don't know what archetypes are, don't ask me to explain it coherently or concisely right now, but I'll just say that we all have, that there are predominant sort of psychological ways of responding in life and reacting to life that are called archetypes. I think that the term has often been associated with Carl Jung, but that it's a really great model for understanding yourself and why you relate to people in the way that you do. Have I got that right, Sue? Would you say that's pretty good? Good. All right. So archetypes next week. And I'll explain a little bit more about that when I send you the invitation. So thank you again for coming along, and exciting times. I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for allowing me to share with you guys. Love you.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thanks, bye.